What Micron stock investors should know for 2025. On today's episode, what I want to do is take a closer look at an overview of what's happening with the market, especially with Micron, right? The stock is down over 40% from its year-to-date high. Now, what should investors expect in 2025, and what are some questions they need to have if they're planning on holding this company? So let's take a closer look. But before we go any further, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Check out the pinned comment for special offer at fool.com/Jose. And check out my free daily semiconductor newsletter, whatthechip.happened.com. The link is down below. So let's get started.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so if we start off with Micron, the stock is up roughly 9% year to date. But like I mentioned, from its peak, the stock is down over 41%. So Micron is actually one that I've gotten very, very bullish on, especially after the recent earnings dip. Now, my overall thoughts for 2025 is I believe Micron is going to have a very slow first half of 2025, at least for the first quarter. And then throughout the quarters, I think it's going to improve dramatically and, in my opinion, be a big winner in the long term of things. I don't know how 2025 would end, but I believe these questions are ones you're going to need to answer or kind of ask and kind of verify throughout each upcoming quarters. First, let's just look at valuation, though. Micron Technology's PE ratio right now is sitting at 25.88. Nothing crazy. Usually in the memory market, one of the biggest issues with the memory market is it's a very cyclical business, right? We kind of see peaks in revenue, and then after a peak in revenue, you see a massive downturn. The main reason is this is a market you have to have the really great balance of supply, right? Because there ends up a portion when their inventory builds up dramatically, companies stop purchasing massive amounts of memory, and then you start to see a huge decline in revenue. And that's why many people are usually afraid of the memory space. Now, one of the main things, there is a big change happening in the memory market right now, in my opinion. So normally, there's not much innovation in the memory market. And the reason I say that is because usually consumer products and kind of your phones, kind of everything else, don't really need the best of the best memory chip. Even AI chips before, like even the GPUs or the kind of the CPUs didn't really care about the best of the best memory out there. So because they didn't care the best of the best, there was no real moat needed. So memory companies didn't have to push innovation, right? So anybody who was just a memory company could try just the right amount and be able to get revenue share. But in my opinion, because of the evolution of AI, that is shifting. Everybody is looking for advanced memory, pretty much in high bandwidth memory for AI accelerators. And the only ones that can do that are the ones that can focus on innovation. Now, this is creating a massive moat, in my opinion, where, sure, there might be a lot of competition in legacy products, but legacy products tend to be ones that have, like I mentioned, a lot of competition, so very low margins. And when high inventory issues are happening, everybody's trying to sell off all their inventory, and you see a massive decrease in prices. That's why you see a massive decrease in revenue. Now, I believe because now innovation is driving new levels of demand for HBM, only those that can combat this will be able to ride this wave. And I don't believe there's going to be any low demand there's not going to be any low demand for HBM for a while. And the companies that can innovate right now, the only two players really playing in HBM are Micron Technologies and SK Hynix. So there's a lot less competition. With a lot less competition, you're going to have a lot more orders. You're also going to have a lot less dilutive revenue and dilutive earnings, right? So I believe this shift in the memory market is creating a moat for those players that can innovate. And now, in my opinion, the memory market has become fun again. It's no longer just a commodity play if you're able to innovate. And that's how every market and segment should be. Obviously, there could be blips overall, but I believe that is going to be one of the main reasons Micron Technology can be a huge winner in this AI space, because they are providing HBM for companies like NVIDIA and their Grace Blackwell platform. They're using their HBM3E, a high stack. Then they're already working on the 12 high. They're already working on HBM4E as well. So as long as Micron Technology can innovate, I think this will be a great stock. But very similar to any other semiconductor stock, innovation needs to continue. So now that we understand what are my thoughts, right? I mentioned in Micron, I believe it's going to have a very weak first half. At least the first quarter of this year is going to be weak for the stock price. In the long term, I do believe there's some great news for Micron. This is one that I am becoming very, very bullish on. The second thing that we heard is valuation, right? Micron is not that crazy expensive right now. And if you look at forward PE ratios, things are looking cheaper. The third reason is I think the memory market is getting the typical image that you would give the memory market, which is very commodity, unfortunately, is blinding a lot of investors. But luckily, for those that are not being blinded, in my opinion, is creating opportunities, because HBM is a whole complete beast from legacy products. Now, the first question that we should ask as 2025 for Micron investors is, will there be a consumer drive for phones and PCs and laptops? Right? We just recently heard from Micron in their most recent earnings that they are seeing adjustments in the consumer market. Originally, they thought that the consumer market was going to be weak until the fiscal year of quarter two, which would be this upcoming quarter. So the first quarter of calendar year of 2025 was when they expected the weakness to kind of end. Now they're seeing that that weakness is actually bigger than expected, mainly because consumer products are not adopting as fast, right? So the real question is, while maybe the first quarter might not be as strong, will we see a demand for phones, for PCs in the second quarter, in the third quarter? And if the answer is yes, then obviously that will drive a huge growth in revenue, because the consumer market pretty much runs right now the memory space. Eventually, I believe the AI market will, and that's a massive, massive tailwind. But right now, obviously, the consumer market is very, very important. So you have the consumer market going up. If you have the AI market going up, that, in my opinion, is going to drive Micron stock price to really, really see some massive increase in stock price. So that's the first question investors need to keep an eye out. We need to keep looking into the market. Hey, is the consumer market doing really good in electronics? If it is, then that's very bullish for companies like Micron. Now, the second question is, can Micron continue to innovate in the HBM space? Like I mentioned, HBM is crucial for AI accelerators. It's also crucial for creating that moat that the memory company needs right now. If you continue to innovate, you're only going to be fighting with very limited amount of competition. Right now, the only competition Micron has is SK Hynix. Now, obviously, they're working on HBM3E right now, but next they have to work on HBM4, HBM4E, custom HBM4. They're working on their node manufacturing 1 Gamma, which uses extreme ultraviolet technology, and they expect that to come out in 2025. As long as they can continue to innovate, then Micron, in my opinion, will benefit. The moment they start to lag, I believe, is the moment things are going to go bad for Micron and Micron stock investors. And again, this, unfortunately, I talked about it in yesterday's episode. For companies and investors like NVIDIA, it's a fun time because you have to keep up with how things are innovating, and things can be changing on a daily basis. The bad thing is, this is a market that needs heavy innovation, and innovation at rapid levels never seen before. So if there is any slip up, and one can't really predict a slip up, right? This could happen over a night, over a week, over a quarter, where something wrong, yields come in low, then that can create a bad experience for stock investors in general. So when you're investing in the semiconductor market right now, if you're investing in the AI market right now, you have to be prepared for any great news that can happen overnight that can drive stock prices to new levels, or you also have to expect bad news is that can cause the stock prices to drop down a lot. So with Micron, just like with any other semiconductor company, there is no guarantee that things are going to go good by the end of 2025. But where we stand right now, Micron definitely has the innovation. It's definitely moving in the right direction. It has partnerships with NVIDIA. So at the moment, things look really, really well for Micron. Now, the next question is, how worried should Micron be about the Chinese market, right? And this is something that I keep getting on my YouTube comments, especially if I talk to Mike about Micron. They say, Jose, you don't know about the memory market. The memory market is very commoditized. Right now, we're losing a lot of memory to China. That is true, right? We are losing a lot of memory market share to China. But that is only on legacy products, on very, very legacy products like DDR4, like LP4. But if we're talking about leading edge technology, and this is why I mentioned, right? This is why I mentioned it's crucial for innovation. And it's crucial to understand the difference between all the different types of memory productions, right? It's like saying, hey, look, Jose, TSMC is losing manufacturing market share to other players in 28 nanometer. Yeah, 28 nanometer is such a mature node. I would hope that there's plenty of competition. But TSMC is not losing market share in the 3 nanometers, in the 5 nanometers. So that's how you should look at it. Micron might be losing market share in the legacy products. But like I talked about it, the legacy products are the ones with low margins and with high competition. So obviously a place like China, which tends to maybe have lower cost of operating things, has a better opportunity to gain market share. As a Micron investor, I'm not here because of legacy products. I'm here for future innovative leading edge products that I know the Chinese competitors are not going to catch up to. So that's why I personally wouldn't be worried too much about the Chinese market as long as innovation is still kicking. And that has to be the most important thing. Any shift, I might sound like a broken record, but any shift in innovation or any shift in advancements of HBM for Micron Technology can be a really, really bad time. Now, on the flip side, right now, Micron has a small market share of HBM. The one who has the biggest market share is SK Hynix. Any slowdown in SK Hynix and any huge growth in innovations in Micron Technology can be a huge boost in stock price for Micron Technology. So there's that double-sided sword, right? Or the coin flip, right? Where one side could be bad and one side could be good. So would I be worried about China? The answer is no as of now. But who knows? Maybe in the next few months, we might see the Chinese market somehow move into creating HBM. And that's why we have to have that question of how is innovation progressing through other competitors as well. Now, the final thing is, how is innovation coming out of AI? Is there more demand for inferencing? And since September of 2024, we saw OpenAI introduced O1 model. An O1 model is a thinking model, a model that kind of does inference numerous times. And for something like a thinking model, you're going to need a lot of memory. And this is the models like this, which are just starting off, in my opinion, are going to be that wave for high HBM needs in the upcoming AI accelerator, being NVIDIA GPUs, being ASIC solutions from big tech players. So as long as we continue to see this thinking model solution or any other innovation in the future in OpenAI, and not even OpenAI, in just large language models that need heavy inferencing, can drive more and more demand for HBM. So O1, in my opinion, was a revolutionary change, and it's changing the way that the scaling law is happening with large language models and compute. And one of the big winners of this O1 model is Micron Technology, and it's the HBM market. So as long as Micron continues to innovate, I think Micron investors will have a very, very good time after the first half of 2025. Personally, I could be off with my timing. Maybe might happen by the first quarter of 2025. And that's why for me right now, I am very, very bullish. And this is a stock that I'm going to continue to load up heavily because I believe there's opportunity right now. Obviously, I could be wrong, and I never go 100% on a stock. I understand my stock portfolio risk. So if you're ever thinking of buying Micron, always make sure that you're comfortable with this market, right? This, like I mentioned, this is a market that can go to a hero, and maybe not necessarily a zero, but can definitely have a bad time if they go in the bad direction. So remember that when buying highly volatile stocks, especially right now in the AI market. Now, this was what Micron investors should know for 2025. I think I might do AMD next. After AMD, let me know what to do on the comments below. I think we have Qualcomm we're going to do, or maybe Broadcom, or maybe Marvell. Let me know in the comments below. Take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.